I want to be the one that beats everybody else's price.
Sure.
And I want you to feel happy and confident about what you just bought from me.
Sure.
Right? It's like, I don't want you to feel like you're buying a new car. You drive off the lot and you already lost.
Right.
I want you to come in here, buy something from me, be happy about it, walk out knowing that you won on your purchase and that your money is safe in the goods that you just got.
But to be the man, you gotta beat the man. If you vibe don't hit you, people who ride with you, get it live, you can paint that picture. Let's get ready to rumble.
All right, Rumblers, we are here. First episode, traveling podcast. We made it all the way from Dallas to Dallas. But listen, we got a treat today. We got my buddy, close friend of mine, Saqib, and we're at his pristine jewelry store, Lucid Diamond Company.
Welcome.
Here in Uptown, Dallas, Texas. Saqib, thanks for being here, man.
Of course, man.
Thanks for hosting us.
I would say thanks for having me, but like, we're in my house, but my house is your house.
Exactly.
Thanks for having me on the podcast, though.
Absolutely. We've had a great friendship for a little while now, and obviously someone I trust and have a high level of respect for. And when I had, met you through mutual friends, started talking about jewelry. One thing led to another. Before you know it, I'm getting a little something myself.
Getting a little short.
But when I had met you, you had told me, when I first met you to talk jewelry, you showed up with like scrubs on.
Yeah.
And I was like, what are you doing? And you're like, well, I'm a pharmacist. I was like, oh, pharmacist, jewelry. Like, so that's what inspires me is like, that's a very big difference in industries.
Yeah.
And so at this point, it's like, well, now I want to gravitate towards how'd you get from here to there? What inspired you? What was your upbringing like? Tell me about everything, everything. And you are so like loved and well respected when we go out, which is what makes me respect you even more. Everyone goes out. When I see you out, everyone loves you.
Yeah.
You know?
I try to be a good person to people because everybody shows me love and, I give a lot of love back. And that's kind of one thing I kind of, learned in Dallas is like input is output. So like you show a lot of love, you'll get a lot of love. Yeah. Same goes with the respect thing. And, people kind of support you in a way where it makes you feel good about what you're doing. Mm-hmm. And, that's kind of the path that I've been living on.
Yeah. How much of that do you think contributes to your childhood as far as your overall mentality of treating people just like being genuine and nice?
The whole thing, man.
Okay.
The whole thing. Just, being raised and, my parents had really good examples for me and my sister did too. And the biggest thing is like everybody I surrounded myself with was kind of inspiring me. I was like, hey, I want to be like that person. I want to be like that person. And so I was really lucky and blessed to be surrounded by people who have, good morals and good values. I grew up in Dallas. I'm from here. I'm from Carrollton, North Side. And then, I went to school in Boston for pharmacy. And that kind of made me grow up a lot faster because, you move to a whole new city. You don't know anybody. And
Boston's a lot different than Dallas. I never been there, but
great city.
Yeah.
Great city. Nothing but good things to say about Boston. I mean, I miss it all the time. And, it kind of made me into who I am today. You meet a lot of people, you make a lot of connections, and you kind of see how you can use them to your advantage in a positive way. Yeah. And it also kind of teaches you not just people, but like kind of situations that you want to stray away from too, right? And so that kind of helped me mitigate a lot of like, negative things that I could have gone through in my life and things like that. But
just by observing people to stay away from, maybe?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. People, like situations, like, just you see brawls going on or you see things that are happening to other people. It's like, man, I don't want to surround myself around that.
Right.
Yeah. But it's been a positive way, like for me to kind of gear how I'm gonna treat other people and do my business and do my thing around people.
Yeah, and I mean I'm real big on this. Like Bradley, I was on his podcast. He's got a really big following, and he like engraved in my head like relationships are the new form of currency.
Oh, for sure.
And it's like you know that, but then when you hear that, it's like, oh my God, yes.
Yeah.
And so I would imagine we'll get into this, like having a jewelry business. I would imagine you have cultivated and built so many relationships organically just from being yourself and being out in Dallas.
Yeah.
So where did would you say you have a passion for jewelry?
Oh, absolutely.
So when did that start and how did it start?
It was a personal thing for me, like, being in the pharmaceutical industry and working towards that, that was always the end goal, to like open my own practice. And then when I graduated and money started coming in and paychecks were flowing, and I was like, man, like I really want to spend this on myself. And so I got a passion towards watches and jewelry. And, you know, I mean, growing up as a kid too, I was always about watches, right? I always had a watch on my wrist. Like, yeah, I'm 10 years old. I'm wearing a fossil watch.
Did you see,
yeah, something back that day, you know,
like, do you remember seeing a shiny one and you were like mesmerized from it as a kid, or were you a favorite uncle that just always had the nice shiny Rolex? Like,
man, no, we're just saying, man. Like, honestly, seeing other people with one.
Okay,
right? I saw a bunch of Rolexes, like, you know, just on athletes and other celebrities.
Yeah,
you know, and I was like, dude, I want to wear one of those, right? Yeah. Like, it's you feel different when you put something like that on your wrist.
Yeah,
and like it's like, yeah, you should have confidence in yourself regardless, but like when you put that on, you're just like, damn, I made it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, I earned this. I'm successful at what I do.
Kind of like a badge of honor a little bit.
Yeah, for sure.
A prideful thing.
Yeah, 100%. Like, you know, you work towards something, and it's like some people want to work towards a new car or a new house. And like me growing up, I was like, man, I want to work towards a Rolex. Like, you know, I still remember buying my first watch, and I still have it. Like, that's the one thing I'll never let go of, you know? But yeah, like, you know, I was buying jewelry, I was buying watches, and you know, before I would buy an item, I would talk to like, you know, 4 or 5 different watch dealers or jewelers and try to compare pricing, and you obviously get the best deal, you know, like see what numbers are going to make the best sense. Mm-hmm. And then I kind of come to realize, you know, like I'm asking for one item to 4 different people and everybody has a different price. So I'm like, what's the standard? What's the market at? Like, why is everybody giving me a different price? And it comes down to how much money do they want to make? How much profit do they want to be? Like, do they want to have a long-term relationship with you, or they just want to get you a one and done?
Got it.
And so then that kind of made me realize it's like, well, if I open up my own pharmacy practice, there is no making your own price. Like, you have to sell it for whatever the copay would be from your insurance or standard drug market.
So the pharmaceutical market, it's a separate.
It's somewhat fixed. You know what I'm saying? Like, sure, there's like new drugs that like, you know, manufacturers can set their own prices on if insurance doesn't cover and, you know, things like that. Like, but, you know, when it comes to the watch game and diamond game, like you can really kind of sell things for whatever you want.
Yeah, you could manipulate it, you know, manipulate the pricing.
Yeah,
based on.
And so then it got me thinking. I was like, man, maybe I want to do this, you know, and in a positive way. It's like, I want to be the one that beats everybody else's price.
Sure.
And I want you to feel happy and confident about what you just bought from me. Sure. Right? It's like, I don't want you to feel like you're buying a new car, you drive off the lot and you already lost.
Right.
I want you to come in here, buy something from me, be happy about it, walk out knowing that you won on your purchase, and that your money is safe in the goods that you just got.
That's literally describing how I felt when I bought my necklace, and I'll continue coming. Is like, obviously you're a friend, but there's friendships and there's business. I think it's awesome when you can mix them.
Yeah, for sure.
A lot of people are like they fucking just frown upon like doing business with friends, doing business with family.
Yeah.
There's good and bad in everything, but my whole logic is like, can you imagine if you just became friends with people and then got to do business with people? How cool would that be?
Even more fun.
And like for me, like I want to put having a roofing business, if my uncle called me or if my family member called me saying, hey, I need help, you better believe like I'm going to put my best foot forward, because
100%.
Why would I want my uncle to have an opportunity to go to a family picnic or Christmas party, and as soon as I walk in, everyone's like, there's bad beef because he fucked up his roof. It's like, no. So with your friends, it's the same premise.
Oh, 100%.
Why would you not want to put your best foot? It forces you to get better.
Absolutely.
Because you do not want to walk into Saya or Lounge and have people go, ugh,
yeah.
You know?
No, 100%.
I kind of look at it like that.
Yeah, absolutely. You walk in, it's like, oh, dude, that's the guy who hooked me up.
Yes.
Like, you should definitely hit him up.
Yeah,
and that's the precedent that I'm trying to set. It's like, you know, I'll look after everybody, whether you're a client or a friend or a family. You know, when it comes to, like I said, like jewelry is my passion, watches are my passion, right? And so like when it comes to that regard in the business that I do, I want everyone to be happy and win on what they're buying, right?
Yeah.
And I tell people all the time, like, whether you buy it from me or somebody else, I'm still always here to for you to consult with, right? Like,
I like that.
If you're saying like, hey man, this guy offered me a watch at this price, what do you think about it? If it's a good price, I'm going to tell you that's a damn good price.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? And like, I would tell you, hey, go and buy that watch, because I probably can't get there. And if I can, I'll say that, hey man, I could probably do the same thing. But if you've already been in negotiations with this guy, it comes down to like a respect thing. Like, you've already taken his time. I'll be more than happy if you continue that purchase with him. You know what I mean?
That right there opens up so much trust.
Oh, absolutely.
A buddy of mine met a couple years ago. He's a very close friend of mine now. He came to me and he goes, hey, do you know who does your insurance for the business? And I said, I have my business partner handles all that. I have no idea. He goes, okay. He goes, I love the opportunity to give you a quote. on your business insurance, like general liability.
Yeah.
But if you have a close relationship with your agent, then don't even worry about it.
Absolutely.
Keep me in mind for next time when your policy comes up for renewal if you want. But if you have a relationship with your agent, I don't even want to step on anyone's toes.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's the first time everyone ever said that to me. And I was like, that's like a really respectful thing to do,
man.
And you just said the same thing. And that opens up so much, like, well, this guy's not out to just make a quick buck.
Yeah. And in all honesty, man, like you said, your business partner handles that aspect.
Yeah.
But you had an interaction with this new guy.
Mm-hmm.
And so
and by the way, and now he has our insurance.
Yeah, there you go.
Right.
And like he's in the back of your head, whether you choose to go with him or not.
Yes.
But in the future, if somebody else reached out to you and said, hey, do you know a guy that does insurance?
Mm-hmm.
You're more than likely going to think about him because you don't even know who the other guy was that your business partner was handling. Right. So you can be like, hey, man, I'm not sure how good he is or like what he can offer you, but he gave me a good pitch. It just wasn't the right fit for me at the time.
Yeah.
But I would give him a shot.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, it's the same thing. Like, you know, it happens to me all the time, especially like, I guess the most popular one is engagement rings.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's a very special experience and purchase.
It's probably the most emotional,
sentimental thing that you can buy as far as jewelry goes, in my opinion, right? And, you know, I encourage a lot of people to kind of shop around and see what the best fit is for you as far as finding a stone. The opportunity, like the possibilities are endless.
Yeah.
Right? There's so many different combinations and parameters when it comes to picking a diamond.
Yeah.
And somebody will come up to me and say, hey, like I've been working with this guy. This is the stone that we picked out. What do you think about it? And, you know, it comes out to the same thing. It's like, if I can do the same type of stone at the same price, I'm going to tell you, you've already been working with this guy for so long.
It's very honorable.
He's you know, he's spent his time on the search. I think you should continue to finish making your ring with him because I wouldn't want somebody who's been.
I was just about to say, you would hate if someone did that.
Yeah, exactly. It's like a time and money type thing, right?
Yeah.
Time is money. And if you spent this guy's time, he's spent some resources to go out of his way to curate the best stone for you and find what's the best option for you.
Yep.
And so and not just like as far as business goes, I feel like that's a part of everything in your day-to-day life.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so if you use those things to your advantage, you know, the door's open for you and, you know, people look at you differently and it can always go a long way.
That's cool. That's really cool. So let's talk about the leap. I mean, at some point, you know, you could talk about it, you could read about it, you could think about it, you could manifest about it, but like, you've got to make that jump at some point.
Oh,
so
absolutely.
When did you feel the confidence and just comfortability? When did you know, like, I'm going to do this. I'm going to open Lucid. I'm going to dive all in.
Man, so a couple of years ago when I moved back, I actually moved back December of 2019 from Boston. So it's been almost 4 years.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I started Lucid then with my two partners, childhood best friends actually. And, you know, we kind of just made the brand. And we always told ourselves like, yeah, man, let's have a jewelry store one day, you know? And kind of the people that I was meeting out and just like being out and about in the scene, you know, I was always just coming to be known as the watch guy or the diamond guy, like, hey, he can hook you up. And so I really started by doing like word of mouth referrals. And so people were looking for a watch. They'd be like, hey, yo, hit up Saq. You know, people hit me up. I'll source you a watch. I'll see what I can make happen for you. You want to make a custom piece or buy a necklace or something, I can definitely get it done and have it delivered to you. A barrier became like over the last, I want to say like a year or so, year and a half. A lot of people were kind of saying like, hey, where's your store at? I want to come see, you know, what you have in stock. I want to see your quality of goods. I want to see like, you know, your designs, your creativity.
Sure.
And that was always my downfall. It's like, hey, I don't have a store, but trust me, anything you need, I can make for you. I can find for you.
Yep.
And it kind of came to a point where, you know, some people would be like, oh, sure. Like, you know, let's go out on a limb. I'll buy something from you. But a lot of people were like, oh, okay, no worries. You know, let me know when you open your store. I'll come by. And so then it kind of came a norm and I was like, you know what? I need to open up a store.
Yeah.
And so, you know, we were looking at locations and, you know, a close friend of mine, Obi actually, walks past here one day and he sees that this was a dry cleaners before
lease,
and it said for lease on the door. He immediately sends me a picture. He's like, Saq, you have to come here.
Yeah. And
I'm like, dude, say less. Let's do it.
Cool.
Let's get on it. And this was last year in February. It took us almost a whole year to lock in a lease.
Just to negotiate the lease?
To negotiate the lease, to like get in response. And, you know, it's the correspondence is always.
Isn't that crazy? You'd think that they would want
me to be here, right?
But space out immediately.
You know, it is what it is. And I was very patient and, you know, things worked out in our favor, thankfully.
I mean, this store, this is you did an unbelievable job with the build out.
I appreciate it.
You guys got to check this out. Location is just unreal. You get like really good foot traffic.
Oh yeah, man.
Yeah.
It's flowing. You know, we're in the center of Uptown, so like you can't go wrong. You know, being on McKinney, it's a blessing, man. It brings it's free advertising just being right here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And,
yeah, your signage is great. I love the logo. I love everything about it. But the build out, I mean, this store is sexy.
Like, yeah, so that's all my partner is saying, man. He has a really good eye for things. You know, we didn't have a designer, didn't have an architect. He just kind of like he had done some remodels in his past, and so he kind of knows like what looks good and what doesn't. And so he did a fantastic job.
Yeah,
you know, I give him all the credit. He's a great guy, and he's my brother. You know, so I'm happy with the way things turned out. You know, hopefully gonna use it to our advantage for a second location.
I was just gonna segue into like. So what do we think? I mean, as far as the traction, as far as like, I don't want to say success, but since you've been opened, are you doing just as good as projections, better than projections? Not
a lot better, man. Really. Yeah, we're very blessed, very lucky. There's been a lot of people showing love and support. You know, Dallas in general is a great city.
Yeah.
People really, really show out for one another. Like all of our friends are kind of doing their own businesses, their own, you know, entrepreneurship, and whatever they're involved in, you have the love and support of the rest of the city.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that it's a common theme across no matter what business you're in. And so we've been very lucky and blessed to kind of experience the same kind of, you know, results here. You know, granted, we're only a couple of months in of having the brick and mortar, but, you know, it makes me very optimistic and very excited for our future and what it brings. And, you know, if we can kind of produce the same way that we have here, I feel like the opportunities are endless, man.
That's cool.
You know?
I want to speak on that because in my experience, I didn't go to college. I tried, I didn't get in. So I lived in Louisville, Kentucky, shortly after high school. And then after Louisville, I lived in Columbus, Ohio. I lived in Iowa. Don't ever live there.
I lived around the map.
I lived in Florida, West Palm Beach, Florida. No, well, Palm Beach Gardens and Jupiter. So what I've experienced more than anything, and I started a little bit noticing in Dallas, but then I went to Miami. And I would go out and I would talk to people about business when I was out. Like, I'm talking like, you're insane.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And I'm like, that's not really taking people serious because I'm like, I mean, we're out right now. Like, how serious are you? But like, then I started landing like legitimate connections through being out. And then I come back to Dallas with the mindset like, I think I need to do a better job of networking when I go out.
Yeah.
And then in Dallas, the city I live in,
that's when it all started.
I started networking in Dallas, and like the relationships I've gotten and the business I've generated from relationships I've established from being out. I'm talking like I'm out to have a good time.
Oh yeah.
But I'm talking to people try to kill people with kindness.
Yeah.
And then I'm meeting business owners. I'm meeting people that are legitimately plugging me in.
Oh yeah.
And I'm like, okay, well, this is like a vision. It's like I'm working all day, and then when I go out 2 weekends a month, I'm working when I go out.
100%.
I'm having a good time, but like I'm meeting consistently business owners or just people that can plug me in. So I'll segue into
your network.
You came from Boston.
Yeah.
And you told me this before. I remember we talked about this, but you came from Boston and you were always used to when you go out, you would just get like, you know, bottle service. And then you did it here all the time. And then Awesome, who, as you all know, Awesome is on the Mount Rushmore of entrepreneurs in Dallas. Awesome, and you established a relationship.
Yeah.
And then he was like, hey, dude, you pay for bottles all the time. Like, just kind of, and then you established a friendship.
Yeah.
Well, now here you are 4 years later.
Yeah.
And from that friendship, you have a business.
Absolutely.
Right? So isn't that crazy? Like, just speaking on like, it is possible, just so you guys know, there's a narrative out there. There's narratives out there for everything. But a lot of people that are more conservative are going to roll their eyes when I say this, but I don't fucking care. There's a way to actually make money when you go out. If you are representing yourself in a respectful manner and you're not out getting shit-faced, and you're not the guy out that's out getting blacked out, and you're not the guy that's being disrespectful, and you're not the guy that's like preying on, like creeping, preying on, where like you could actually build relationships when you're out having a good time.
100%.
And you can build a business.
Yeah.
Look where we're at.
Look where we're exactly. I'm a product of it, you know?
Yeah.
Like, Austin and I joke about it all the time. Like when I first met him, I was going out a lot, and New Year's comes around, and I was actually in the hallway table at Old Citizen. And, you know, like you have no view of that building, of what's inside when you're in that hallway.
Right.
Like you are ducked off, you're in the corner.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, all the girls are great over there, but like your service is like, they're gonna serve you last. You know what I'm saying? Like you're the least important person.
You're kind of like the redheaded stepchild.
Yeah, you're just there because they had an extra table open. You know what I mean? And so like he jokes about it with me all the time. He's like, hey man, don't forget where you came from. You were in the hallway. You know? And it's like, yeah, motherfucker, I was in the hallway. You know? It's like that's cool, man. Like, and I'm happy to go back to it because look where it got me. You know what I'm saying? So if I can start over and do it again, I'm down, man. Like,
you gotta get you a shirt that says from the hallway to table 7.
There you go. You know? And so it was cool, man. Like, you know, we became really close, and you know, I met the rest of the team, and you know, now it's like lifelong friendships, and and you know, it's been leading towards, you know, doing business with each other.
Yep.
It's a great feeling, man. Like, you know, you start off as friends, and then you see what doors and opportunities open to you.
Yeah.
And they just come into your lap. You know, you don't chase anything. It just kind of, you know, it has a way of working itself out.
Yeah.
And you know, if you're patient and you know, optimistic, you can do whatever the hell you want.
Yeah. I mean, I always believe that like the harder you work, the luckier you get. Absolutely. You know, it's amazing how like when I'm in that zone and I'm talking like my personal zone, I'm talking like 2-day workouts every day, 5 days a week for like just months and months and months on end, and just everything is clicking and I'm just so much more dialed in. That's when I get the calls of, hey, I need you to do my roof, or hey, I got 3 roofs for you. It's funny how that happens after I just kick it up.
No,
you know, so it's like the harder you work, the luckier you get. And one thing I will say about the Dallas like network of friends is like they really do support each other. Like my whole thing is like, I'm gonna tell you an experience I had when I was out of high school. I did carpentry in the union. I was terrible, but I remember the carpenters I worked with, it was in the union, and like nobody would really like teach me how to do shit. And after a while, I'm like, why isn't anyone like helping me? And they're like, hey, dude, come here. I'm gonna tell you something. Like no one has the balls to tell you. If someone, how old are you? I'm 18. Okay.
28.
No, I'm saying that's why.
That's in, okay.
You're 28. You're young. So the guy comes to me. He's like, bro, how old are you? I go, I'm 18. He goes, okay, well, I'm 42. So if you can do my job better than me, you're a threat to me.
Yeah, facts.
Because the union will pay you how much? I'm like, well, I'm getting like $14 an hour now. He goes, okay, well, I make 38. So if our boss knows that they could get the same job,
same work out of you at 14,
then why the fuck would anyone here invest time in helping you?
100%.
And I was 18 and I learned that, and I was like, that's fucked up, but that's life, I guess.
Yeah.
And now I guess I'm in the workforce. So is this what it's like? And then I started meeting people that are successful, that have achieved a high level of success, and they have such a giving attitude. And I'm like, isn't it funny how the people that give the most have the most?
Yeah.
And isn't it funny how the people that don't give as much and they try to hoard don't have shit? And it's that scarcity mentality.
Yeah.
And with Dallas, I've noticed that like restaurant owners promote other restaurant owners.
Oh, absolutely.
Business owners promote other business owners. They might do the same thing that they do, because it's like we have enough people here. So like, I've just noticed that.
Yeah. And
is that like the network here, like
you give a different experience.
Yeah.
And like, you know, it's one of those things that goes back to it, where it's like Dallas is a city where you can really kind of find the same love and support from no matter what business you're in.
Yeah.
And, you know, to go off what you said, like different restaurant owners, you know, support others. A lot of the times they're all best friends too.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's cool because everybody does their own thing. They deliver their own vibe. And like at the end of the day, you know, you guys go handle your work, go to your venues, and then you all meet up and you rally and party together.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like, that's like the ultimate goal, to have everybody around you and your team is winning and doing their own thing. And then you kind of figure out a way to put your heads together and be like, hey, how can we work?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? What can we do together?
Yeah. I mean, it's like there's 2 ways to build an empire. You could like burn everyone's buildings down, or you could just build yours higher than everyone else.
100%.
Like,
yeah,
you don't need to like shit on other people to like excel in life.
Yeah,
you know?
100%.
So, well, that's great, man. So, dude, that's great. So let's talk real quick before we wrap up. Some of like the nuts and bolts behind like the business. So I wouldn't say I'm passionate about jewelry. I think jewelry is awesome, but I couldn't name you like 5 Rolex off the top of my head. But let's talk about the market shift, man. Because as a novice buyer, you know, I bought a couple watches, and it's like 1 month I ask about the price and it's 22 grand, and the next month I'm like, how does it go up 40% in 6 months?
Oh yeah.
And like, let's talk real quick about like the market shift. There's been a massive, crazy shift. Where does that come from?
So there's a lot of, you know, opinions and, you know, like perspectives that people can kind of put into the market. Like a lot of the times it has to do with, obviously supply and demand. But, what I've seen in my experience is that like when people need to kind of pull their money out of something, let's say you're sitting on a watch for like 50 grand that you put in. And if you need to use that for something else, you'll probably dump it quick and you might want to get like 45 out of it. Now, if you sell that for 45, in our dealer chats and you see somebody selling at 45, everybody else who has that watch, they're gonna be,
shit. Well, now I just manipulated the market.
And so, it doesn't happen all the time. That's not the only reason that, the market shifts, right?
Yeah.
A lot of people will say,
I never thought about
something
that.
to do with it, right? Like a lot of these guys are making so much money off of crypto, and these millennials wanted to spend money and they would buy watches with all their crypto money. And then when crypto was doing bad, like when it was coming down, well, they were like, okay, well, let me liquidate my watches again so that I can buy more crypto to buy it while it's down.
Yeah.
And so when they were buying watches at its peak, you were spending $100K on a watch. Now when crypto's down, your watch might be worth like 80. You're going to dump it at 80 so you can get the in. Now the market's down, and so like that fluctuation, you don't know how to predict it, what it's going to come to. Like we were just talking about the Pepsi, like at the peak, that Pepsi was 30 grand.
Yeah.
Today they're hovering in the low 20s.
Okay. Even
sub 20, depending on, if you're getting Jubilee or Oyster. But
yeah.
I did a video a couple of weeks ago on that Paddock.
Yep.
That hit 360 grand, March of last year. You can walk away with a brand new one now for $200,000.
Wow.
And it's like,
that's crazy.
You don't know what watches are going to do well, what watches won't. There's trends, obviously. I can kind of tell you that sport models tend to do better.
Yeah.
Stainless models tend to do better than two-tones, depending on, what it is.
Is Pepsi considered a sport?
Yeah, it's definitely a sport model. The GM.
So is a sport technically some people consider like you could play golf or tennis in?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, 100%. I mean,
is that a sport? What do you have on? Because this
is
nice
AP Royal Oak. I would have considered.
What is that?
It's an AP Royal Oak.
Oh.
It's actually a special edition. It's after a famous cricket player in India, Sachin Tendulkar.
Oh.
He only made 150 of these.
Really?
It's a pretty badass watch, yeah.
And you got one?
Oh, yeah. It's got the Indian flag colors.
Get a good view of that camera. That piece is nice.
It's a fire piece.
150 made?
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah. And, there's a lot of watches out there like that. AP does, predominantly one of the most limited edition releases, same with, RMs and things like that. But, as far as the market goes, like you can never really tell. And so people will always ask me like, hey, what's the best watch to buy where I can make money? And I think the better question is like, what watch can I buy to hold my money and like keep my money safe?
Yeah.
And I kind of like piggyback off of it and be like, hey, like you can probably buy a safe stock where your money is safe, but can you wear it on your wrist? No, it's stuck on a computer or whatever platform you're using.
Right.
But if you buy a watch, I can kind of tell you what watch is going to hold value and what I've seen in the trends and what,
Yeah, I mean, the watch industry has been around for X amount, so you could just go back through history and be like, this is what history tells
you. Somebody comes up to me and say, hey, I have a 10K budget, I have a 30K budget. Where is my money best well spent? I can give you a couple of recommendations and kind of see what you think is going to work best out for you, what color combos and what bracelets you like, what bezels you like. And, there's always so many different variations of a watch that we can find. But again, like going back to how the market shifts, God knows, I mean, there's certain things that you can do to manipulate it. I guess if, 10 dealers one day want to wake up and say, hey, let's sell this watch for 15K and fuck up the market.
Right.
It's going to affect a lot of people.
Yeah.
But like there's
it eventually will correct itself.
Exactly. There's an unspoken level of like, okay, we know what this watch is worth.
Yeah.
And let's kind of try to gravitate a little bit towards more of that real estate.
Yeah. It's kind of like the real estate model from the perspective of like, let's say you live in a subdivision, everyone's house is valued between $500 to like $600,000, but then you get old lady Marge around the corner that like forgot to pay her fucking mortgage and got in gambling debt, and now she had to foreclose. Well, like she just had to sell that house for like $375.
Yeah.
So all the neighbors are like, you just fucked us, right? Because when they run the comps, they're gonna go, oh yeah, well the comps show that we just bought a house around the corner for $375. It's like, okay, but that's not like, that's just because you got in gambling debt. It's like, it doesn't matter. She still.
That's what it went for.
Sold a house.
Yeah.
So that's kind of like where my brain goes to like understand the concept.
100%.
Yeah. Well, good stuff, man. Well, dude, you are onto something special, man. I am so happy for you to just get this up and running. I mean, it's been a long time coming though. So
it's been coming and it's early in the game,
Yeah.
You surround yourself with the right people and, kind of how we started the conversation. It's like, your input's your output.
Yeah.
So, you know, we work hard every day. We try to get better every day. We're still learning things every day. Like, you know, it doesn't matter how long you've been doing something. There's still something to learn every day, right?
Yeah.
And so we'll see where that road takes us, man. Hopefully, you know, God has a bigger plan and always keeps us in the back of his head. But, you know, we're rolling.
I love it.
You know?
Good stuff, man. Well, this is great. I'm going to get my phone and do some rapid fire questions we'll end with. But in the meantime, you want to tell us about some of these pieces you got? Because this is these are some sexy.
Some of my favorite pieces that we have. So one of these, this is actually a nice little baguette pinky ring. So, you know, it's a big statement piece. It's 8 carats of diamonds in this. You know, you'd probably look pretty good wearing that, you know, if you wanted to. You could pull it off. You wear something like this, no one's going to question you. Like, no, that doesn't suit him. Like yeah. It
It's like a Super Bowl stuff.
You know what I'm saying? So that's really neat. We got
That looks
a couple
good.
of different Cubans in here. This one's in rose. This one's in white.
Okay.
This diamond ball chain with the Hermes links in the middle. Very unique.
That's a very unique piece.
Oh, yeah. You see, I mean, nowadays you can kind of see some athletes and rappers wearing this. It's a pretty unique design. It's very labor intensive. A lot of stones go into making this. You know, you can make it into a bracelet or a necklace. And we got some cool things back here. Some custom pendants, a big Cuban chain. You know, we're trying to get into like the natural gemstone jewelry. So we got a sapphire piece up there. I'm wearing one with rubies in it. And so, you know, the possibilities are endless when it comes to jewelry. You have an idea, I'll create a design for you. And, you know, we have a pretty good team to kind of cater to everybody's needs.
Yeah, I think that's so cool. And it is such a unique factor is your ability to customize jewelry.
I mean, it's fun, man.
Guys, I'm telling you guys, like, you've got to check out his store and check out his Instagram, check out his social media, because he customizes pieces that are just incredible. Oh, yeah. I mean, I'm talking from names to designs.
Yeah.
I mean, you've done some
if you can envision
special
something,
things.
A lot of people are like, man, I want a custom piece and I don't really know what I want. I'm like, come to the store. Let's have a 10-minute conversation.
Yeah.
Let me get to know a little bit about you.
Yeah.
I'll see, you know, what your hobbies are, what your interests are.
Mm-hmm.
I could probably put something together.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And you tell me what means the most to you, what's important to you. I can probably draw something up. And
you got a very creative mindset for that.
yeah, I mean, it's fun to hit the drawing board and, you know, we'll make the CAD, we revise it. You know, it's a play on things where it's like, I'll get a better idea as we kind of approve or deny changes. And so, you know, when it comes to the first piece, it's always like a learning curve, but going forward, it's like,
Yeah, you got the relationship.
I know the kind of thing that you like.
I mean, kind of like an interior designer.
Yeah, exactly.
Just get a taste and feel for like what they currently have.
That's a great question. Yeah.
Who's the big goo?
Big U is actually one of our close clients, man. He's been rocking with us for a minute.
So is he waiting to get that?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
We just finished that one a couple of days ago.
Big goo. You got to come and get your
He's
piece.
about to roll up on us, man. He's gonna come by and pick that up probably tomorrow or the day after. He's been out of town, but
That's a big boy piece.
that one came out really nice. We're really excited about that.
That's cool.
He had one that he made with somebody else, and he was like, "Man, I need you guys to make me my next one," because you know he found us when the store opened, and he's been walking with us, man. He got some earrings earlier. He got a necklace from us. Like,
That's cool.
He shows a lot of love.
Yeah. I mean, there was an NBA player that came in literally 3 minutes before we started film. We don't need to name
It's the area, man. It's we're very lucky.
Yeah, there's literally an NBA player that walked in as we were about to sit down and picked up a ring, picked up a piece.
Yeah. It's
And he's a
good.
flipping shot.
And lucky.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Good stuff.
Solid guy.
All right, so this is a rapid fire. We'll get it going, and that's it, man. Dude, that was great.
Let's do it.
All right,
Man,
so
tell me about these questions.
I like to surprise people.
All right, let's run it.
All right, beach or mountains?
Beach,
What's your favorite sport to watch in person?
basketball,
Pancakes or waffles?
pancakes.
I already know the answer.
Loving pancakes depends.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I already know the answer to this. Dog or cat?
Dogs, baby.
Okay, why don't you tell everybody where the name Lucid came from?
Well, no, so I named my dog after the
Oh,
Brand came first.
Okay,
Brand
got
came first. I got me a little pup and had to name it.
Okay, that's cool. Rap or country music?
Rap,
Okay, you like skiing or snowboarding?
skiing.
That's a good one for you. I like this question a lot. Dave came up with this one. Who's the most famous person in your phone?
Oh shit, that's tough. Most famous person in my phone.
You probably have to go think.
Yeah, I probably have to go through it.
athletes and then think like. Do you know any like entertainers?
I don't know any entertainers. I deal with a couple of athletes. I'd probably want to say Zeke, hometown
Yeah.
reppin'. That's a good question though.
I have Dak's number just so you guys know. He lost a bet with me a couple weeks ago, so I got it. Dak, I hope you're seeing this. That's a funny story. I can't say Jordans or red bottoms because you wouldn't wear red bottoms. What's the coolest vacation you've been on?
Well, that's a good one. Probably either Colombia or Japan. Yeah,
Japan.
Yeah, man.
I've heard Japan is
brother
cool.
actually lives there. Oh, it's badass.
I've heard
country,
it's
man.
very clean.
Very clean.
I've heard that.
Great food.
Yeah.
You know, I went when I was a little bit younger, but definitely got to go back and party in Tokyo. But Japan was sick.
Yeah.
You know, Morocco's also really nice. Went to Morocco.
My business partner was just in Morocco.
Yeah, beautiful country, man.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
He was just there a couple weeks ago.
Oh, yeah.
I'll have to have him tell you about it. Or you were already there. That's one of the
Yeah.
trips. Yeah.
Cool little trip. I went to Morocco, Portugal, and Spain all together.
Yeah.
I was gone for like 4 weeks.
Really?
It's badass. I haven't done a Euro trip like that in a while, but I got one coming soon, hopefully.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Okay, last one. So any person that's currently alive or they're dead that you'd most likely want to party with.
Oh, Michael Rubin.
Who's Michael Rubin?
Man, he throws those crazy parties. I think he owns the Sixers and like founder of Fanatics.
He's a big partier?
Oh yeah, he throws the craziest.
Oh, I didn't know that.
On July 4th, he has like a white party every year.
Yeah.
You know, if you can get invited to that party, you really made it.
You made it.
Oh yeah, it's like the elite that are there.
Do you know anyone that's ever been there? Personally, the
No,
party?
I don't
Okay.
actually.
I bet you they collect your phones when you walk in.
Oh, I mean, shit. I mean, I'll be there one day.
Did you go to Dave Chappelle?
I did.
Did they collect everyone's phone when they got there?
Yeah, they made you put it into like this little magnetic little pouch, and they had to unlock it when you left.
So they had a place for thousands of people to just put their phone?
No, you hold your own phone. You walk in, and they'll give you a little pouch, and they'll seal it shut, and you can't open it. They have like a little.
Oh, they have a device that can only open it.
Exactly. And they'll open it on your way out when you're leaving the building.
I heard that.
It was a cool show. It was really funny. He's
Yeah.
a guy, yeah.
Did he say things that were like, oh, that's why you didn't want us to record?
Probably, man. You know, like that tends to be like the connotation that you set when you're trying to collect people's phones. It's, you don't want to be heard saying certain things, and if you say, oh, he said this, it's like like,
well, you just took it like that. He didn't say that.
That's true. Yeah, exactly.
You know, that's just how you took it.
Yeah. So it was a funny show, though. I almost went the second night too. He did a second show in Fort Worth, but I didn't make it out there. But that show was funny, man.
Well, good stuff, man. Well, dude, thank you so much for hosting.
Of course. Thanks for getting me on.
The first ever travel podcast. Yeah, this is great, man. Well, dude, thank you. Thank you for the One Piece. Just so you guys know, you get up here. I love it.
I'm here.
Working on the next rollie here pretty soon.
I got you, my boy.
Dude, thank you. All right, everyone, make sure you check out Lucid.
Sure.
My boy Saqib on Instagram. Tell everyone your Instagram handle.
Yeah, so you can get us at luciddiamond.co. You know, follow us, check us out, hit me up. We're on McKinney and Pearl. If you ever want to come by, I'll be here.
Gotcha. All right, guys. Thanks for tuning in.
If you